Well, here we are, video 18. This is its world debut, and you are among the first people in the whole world to watch it. You are just so fortunate. All right, let's get started. Video 18 is all about going from a graph and then coming up with the trig equation. And I'm always going to give you 2 points, and just be careful. Sometimes I give you the whole period, meaning you can see here that you've got your starting point and your end point for sine. But sometimes I actually would give you this point, only kind of half the period, so just be careful. Another thing to take note of is just for this year, we're just going to do sine x for this topic. And then, you know, if you want to learn more about this, you can further reach into it, but I'm not going to go any further. All right, let's get started. The first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to give you this graph, and you need to do step 1 where you identify if it's a positive sine x or a negative. We remember that sine x starts by going up, okay, versus negative sine x actually starts by going down. So we look here, and what is it doing? It's going down, right? So here, our step 1 is telling us that it's going to be a negative sine x. All right, step 2, find the amplitude. For me, this is just a matter of looking at the graph and seeing from the midline, which is clearly here, to my max, what's that distance. And just be careful, right? Because here you can see that this would be 0, 1, 2, and 3. So really, we're going from 1 to 2, and then 2 to 3. So that's a distance of 2 to get from 1 to 3. So here our amplitude is 2. All right, step 3, we need to find b, and we know that b is 2 pi over period. That's equal to b. And so I kind of, first of all, I say, hey, did Miss Sorensen give me the whole period? And in this particular case, yes, I did, because look, it's going down, then and up and back. So yes, and so we have to now see, you know, what is this distance right here? Okay, well, here we can count 1, 2, 3, so we're at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So basically we're from 3 to 7, and you can see that here as well, from 3 to 7, that's a distance of 4. Okay, so in here we've got our b equals 4. Oops, sorry, I screwed that. That's going to be 2 pi over 4, which makes much more sense, right? 2 pi over my period of 4. Now divide both by 2, and you're going to get a pi over 2. Just be careful of, you know, how the graph is kind of labeled. All right, let's clean this up a little bit. All right, next thing we're going to do, step 4, is we're going to look and try to find c and d and look at how the point 0, 0 for sine x has been translated. So we know that our original point for sine x starts at 0, 0, and what's happened? We've gone right 3 up 1, right 3 up 1. Well, I like to write that as right 3 up 1. Just kind of a reminder to me that I have to write my right 3 as the backwards. All right, and then our step 5, verify that our D is correct by making sure it's my midline. So here's my D. Is D my 1? Is it my midline? Yes, it is. So I'm good to go that that's my midline. And final step is obviously just to write the equation. So we've got y equals a negative because of this. So that's going to be a negative sine. Oops, what did I forget? I forgot my amplitude. A negative 2 sine. And then I've got to put my b in there, which is pi over 2. And then I'm going to put my x minus 3 plus 1. There we go. And I think I'm missing a parentheses. Where am I missing it? Right here. There we go. All right. There she is. All right. I think let's go to the next one. Okay, here. Did I give you the whole period? Yes, I did. We will go up, then down, then up. That's the whole period. So that's good to know. The other thing to know is that it starts going up. So for step 1, we know that it's going to be a positive sine x. It's not going to be negative. All right, second thing to do is to check out our amplitude. Our amplitude goes from our midline, which is right here, all the way up. Okay, be careful. this is going from a -1 to a 2, all right, because this is a 1 here. So that goes up 1, 2, and 3. So we have an amplitude of 3. That's just kind of how far it is from your midline to your max. All right, next thing here was we need to find our b. That's step 3. So b is equal to 2 pi divided by our period. Well, our period is from here to here, and that's from -2 to 6. And that's a distance of 8. So 2 pi over 8, which is going to reduce to pi over 4. Fantastic. All right, next thing that we're going to do, step 4, is to find our c and our d. And we're really considering the fact that we are taking our 0, 0, and it's actually our first point is now this. So it was left 2, down 1. Well, left 2 would be a +2, and then a down 1. All right, fantastic. So let's keep moving with this. Step 5 is to verify that my midline is correct. So is that a -1? Does that make sense? Yes, it does. All right, let's go ahead and let's graph this. This is going to be y equals my amplitude of 3, and I know it's a positive because of this. And then my sine of that's going to be a pi over 4. All right, and then we're going to have an x +2, and then close this off, and then we've got our -1. All right, fantastic. Okay, last one here. So here we are, and this is actually giving us half the period, right? So we got to realize that it also goes to here. So step 1 is this sine x or negative sine x. This is a negative, right? It starts down. Step 2 is find the amplitude. Well, this is a little trickier, right? This is a 1, that's a 2, this is a 3. So this is actually an amplitude of just from here to here is a half, because your 5 would be here and your 4 is here. So that's going to be an amplitude of 1/2. Don't see that too often, but it does happen. All right. Next thing is let's find our b. So step 3, b is going to be equal to 2 pi over period. Well, my period is from here to here, which is from 1 to 3. So my period is 2 here, and 2 pi over 2 is just pi. Right, fantastic. I'm saying fantastic a lot because I'm feeling fantastic. All right, now let's figure out how 0, 0 has been transformed to our first point. So here's my 0, 0 right here. And I'm trying to figure out how I got to this point. Well, that was a right 1 up 4. So I'm going to have x -1, because always the opposite, then up 4. All right. And step 5, we should make sure that our midline is correct. Is our midline at 4? Yes, it is. And now we just get to write it as y equals a -1/2, right? We've got our negative and our 1/2. And then we have to write our sign. And I've got a pi times x -1. And then I've got a close your parentheses, then +4. All right, thanks for watching.